What weight were you when you decided to take this on, and where are you now?
When I got my weight documented, I was 643. That was back in, I think, February. And the last time I weighed, I was about 703, and that was a few months ago. But I've been trying to eat fruits and vegetables and stuff and make wiser choices. So I'm probably a little bit under 700 now. You know, I don't really have any way of knowing, but really close to 700, but probably not at 700 right now.
Now, that tape we're watching is of you walking just a few feet to the car. We also have some footage of you going to the couch. Let's watch. Pauline, we're looking at you here, and you're obviously short of breath, only walking a very short distance. How long do you think your body can withstand this?
You know, I think that's why I'm here today, is I know I've pushed my body past its limits. I have knee pain every day, and I really need to get this taken care of while I'm still healthy enough to do.
And Pauline, I think people at home want to know, how did this happen? You know, what is this something that had a genetic basis to it, that you didn't pay attention? But
there definitely is genetic. My mom's somewhere in her mid 350. I thought close to 4, but I'm not exactly sure. I have several siblings that are over 300. So there is genetics involved, but I'm absolutely not blaming it on genetics. I have a big appetite. I have a sweet tooth. I have definitely overeaten, and I do take my blame for it.
Well, listen, now you mentioned that your entire family, your siblings were all overweight. What was your childhood like?
My childhood was actually very happy, and I have kind of, when I'm saying my siblings that were over 300, there's a little bit of a story to that. My dad was actually married 5 times, and it's the siblings I have with his different wives, there's 8 of us. All of that side is over 300 except for one. My direct family that I grew up with, my mom, you know, we had 5 children. Not all of them were over 300 at some point, but half of us were kind of chunky. We had a very happy childhood. We celebrated a lot with food for every occasion, happy and sad.
And how much do you eat now? I mean, what kind of caloric intake do you maintain?
You know, I don't really keep track of it, and I'm not trying to be in denial, but I don't really feel like I eat a super amount now. I think maybe my metabolism slowed down after I had my son. A lot of times I have bad eating habits as far as I won't eat anything until 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And then I'm really hungry, so I'll eat enough for 2 meals because I'm starving. You know, so I think it's bad managing, it's bad scheduling, and it's a combination of things.
Are you eating, or do you have a history of eating high caloric? I mean, there we have a picture of you eating watermelon. You must have had a period of high caloric intake. I mean, you must have.
I love candy. I love sweets. If I could have dessert after breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would do it. I don't know why, but I mean, I always love to be munching on, you know, even if it's Jolly Ranchers, just sucking on them while I'm on computer or something. That's part of the compulsiveness, I think, is that I want to eat or have something in my mouth, even if I'm not hungry. And I know it's a bad thing. Like, I'm not trying to put myself on display as I'm a freak show. Hey, look at me. But I'm just saying it's a bad habit that I have developed over the years. And I do regret it. And I do not like the position that I'm in now. And that's why I'm putting myself out here, is, you know, so I could try to change that.
One last question, Pauline. Have you made any big attempts at losing weight, or had any professional help, or done anything really systematic to try to lose the weight?
I've tried many different diets, from Jenny Craig to Nutrisystem to, there's a cabbage soup diet that they put heart patients on to lose weight before surgery. I've tried Slim Fast. I've tried counting calories, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats here at home. I've tried liquid diets. Oh yeah, I've tried 1,000 diets for sure. Most recently, though, in the last few months, I've really started, because I love everything, including fruits and vegetables. I have started, when I get a sweet tooth, eating watermelon cantaloupes. It's summertime, so it's the best time to take advantage of the melons being in season. I do eat a lot of watermelon, cantaloupe, any kind of fruit. I love all fruit. So when I want brownies and ice cream, I've been exchanging it for fruit instead, and that helps my sweet tooth a lot. So I've been, working on it pretty good for the last few months.
And yet it seems like the wait continues. Well, we're going to talk about perhaps some solutions to that and how that needs to be managed and how this should make us all think and pause and what we might be able to do with our own dietary habits. And now Pauline can do very little on her own. So who is helping her out? It is her son. And much of his life is spent looking after his mom. He worries she may die. His thoughts on being the son of the heaviest woman alive. Next.
Dr. Drew, my mom weighs 700 pounds, and I don't want her to die.
Well, none of us want her to die, and we are back with Pauline Potter. Now, those of you who are just joining us, we are talking to the Guinness Book record holder for 2012 as the heaviest woman alive. Now, remember, this show is all about trying to understand why people do what they do and how we all can learn and apply it to our own lives and our own family and our own loved ones. Now, Pauline's a pretty dramatic case. And I think she knows that if she doesn't get help soon with her weight, she could lose everything. Joining me now is Dylan, Pauline's 18-year-old son. You just saw him asking for help for his mom. Dylan now spends much of his time taking care of her. We are also joined by Dr. David Heber. He's the founding director of the UCLA Center for Human Nutrition. Dr. Heber's primary areas of research are obesity treatment and prevention. And Devin Alexander, healthy chef and author of the Biggest Loser cookbooks, including the Biggest Loser Quick and Easy Cookbook to be released November 8th. First off to you, Dylan, what did you think when your mom got into the world's record book?
I just thought that, well, I knew she wasn't the biggest one out there, but she needed to get her story out there so a doctor will hopefully come forward and help her out.
Now, we had a camera crew up at Pauline's home yesterday, and Dylan, if you look at this footage, you'll see that it seems like you do a lot of work for your mom. We can see you're the one really responsible for the safety and caretaking. And I'll tell you something, Dylan, I deal a lot in my practice and over the years have dealt with caretakers, and the one thing that always I caution everyone about is I don't want a second patient. We got one patient. Are you taking care of yourself?
I am. I'm taking care of myself as well as helping my mom out with stuff.
Pauline, I know you're very dependent on Dylan, but I bet it's difficult for you to see him helping and really dedicating his young life to you.
It is. It's emotional for me. I do actually have a helper person that helps me with bathing and errands and helps around the house a little bit, but that person isn't here all the time. So since Dill is here 24/7, a lot of it does fall on him, and I don't know what I would do without him. I mean, he's an awesome kid, but I do need his help, of course. But
Pauline,
beyond that,
I'm going to interrupt.
I didn't need his help.
Yeah, I know you need his help, but we need to make you well enough so he can have a life. Don't you agree?
Exactly. And that's where a lot of my guilt is from, is because I do need so much of his help. And I would love to have the day come where I don't need him to help me up off of the couch so that I can go to the bathroom, or I don't need him to cook, for me, or, he does do a lot of things for me that most children don't do for their parents.
All right,
sure.
though there was a picture of him helping you out again. Now, Dr. Heber, I'm going to you now. Your area of expertise is treatment of obesity. Where do we get started with Pauline? What does she got to do?
Well, unfortunately, Pauline's at a point in her life right now where she's going to need serious medical supervision. And
So I'm going to stop you. So the first note is changing weight like this is not something you just follow Chef Devin's cookbook.
No,
she needs care. I mean, she could end up in some very serious metabolic
Absolutely.
problems.
This is a woman with a very large protein mass. She's got a lot of muscle on her body. We're concentrating on her fat, but that muscle needs to be supported with protein. If she doesn't get protein, her body will take it from her heart, which could be fatal. So this is someone who needs professional supervision.
And there's also, I imagine, some surgery she would need as well.
Absolutely. She's got a lot of what we call fat in the apron area, and there's an operation where you can just cut that off and take off the fat. She's also luckily got a lot of fat in her legs, which is actually a place where it's metabolically less damaging to the body. Her upper body's not that bad.
Oh, that's very interesting. But I imagine it's still destructive to the tissue in the legs.
Absolutely. And the worst thing is the mobility, her hips, her knees, her back. This is where the morbidity will come in. She's 47. We need to do something now before she's totally immobile.
And would something like a gastric bypass be appropriate for her?
Ultimately, it might be appropriate for her, but as a last resort. I would start her out on a very low-calorie diet with medical supervision.
And finally, what are the genetic predisposing elements that the environment eventually triggers in somebody like Pauline?
Well, there's definitely a genetic component. This type of obesity has gone up fourfold in our society, and the genes are there, but there are multiple genes. It's not a single gene will ever cure. She's just very well adapted to starvation. I'd say she's the kind of person to be the last one to starve in the village 1,000 years ago.
Well, we heard her say that she doesn't eat till 3 or 4 in the afternoon sometimes and still not losing weight. Devin's shaking her head.
Absolutely. That's what we call the dieter's plan. You don't start eating till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. She's got all kinds of hormones that make her have a thrifty genotype. She hangs on to every calorie, and so the genetics loads the gun, but environment pulls the trigger.
And finally, for people that sort of are interested in this topic, there's a whole hormonal system that determine hunger and satiation, whether you're full and that sort of thing. Are we making any progress on
it's tough.
manipulating that system?
It's tough because we're very well adapted to starvation, poorly adapted to overnutrition. Our genes are 50,000 years old, and nature just doesn't believe you're going to find that next squirrel in the forest tomorrow, so you hang on to every extra calorie.
That's very interesting. Now, Devin, your story is that you actually yourself lost 70 pounds. I mean, look at her. She's fantastic.
Beautiful.
Right. And you've written books about how to eat and how you did this. It's a different, but even 70 pounds is something the average person can manage on their own, I imagine. I mean, generally speaking.
Generally speaking, people in the 30 to 40 pound range can generally manage on their own, and that's the public health thing that we have to tackle. Absolutely.
And Devin, do you have specific recommendations other than buying your cookbook and following directions?
Well, no, I mean, it's just don't completely starve yourself and get rid of everything that you crave, because I think that causes problems too long term. Like, you lose it, but then you gain it back. So it's like really focus on the things that you love that are going to excite you and make those things and have those in small quantities, and then eat the fruits and vegetables and all of that.
Do you have any questions or direct advice for Pauline and her son?
Well, direct advice.
Or questions about how, what they have been doing or trying, what they could try.
Well, I know the sweet tooth, she said, was big, and I do have a recipe for brownies that I know you've had with.
They're really good.
They're 50 calories, though, so that's one of the things. If, for me, sometimes I get the voice like, have something, and that can curb it, and they
So for the average person, I think from talking to Devin in the past, what I've come to understand, and I try to do this myself, is just pay attention. Make proper choices.
Well, and that is such a huge thing, because you can cut calories. I mean, you go and you order a chicken breast sandwich in a restaurant, and they've put 200 calories worth of butter or lard on the bun. And by the time you put your ketchup and barbecue sauce and all of that, you don't taste it anyway. So just be really cautious about what you're actually putting in your body, because you can lose weight simply by, as you said, being aware.
And finally, Dr. Heber, what are we going to do for Pauline? Pauline, you're on Medi-Cal, is that right?
Medicare and 8%
Medicare.
I think is Medicare.
Okay, so Medicare should cover this kind of intervention.
She's got a good university hospital in her area in Sacramento. We work quite a bit with UC Davis. We'd be happy to work with some of the experts up there. I don't think she's mobile at this point that she should come down here to Los Angeles, but we've had an excellent relationship with UC Davis for many years. They have a big nutrition department. It's our land-grant college for California, so I'd be very happy to help communicate with her and see what we can do to help her.
Pauline, we're going to hook you up with Dr. Heber. Does that sound like a start at least?
Sure. Thank you very much.
Okay, and when we come back, thank you to my guests, of course, we will take up the issue of hoarding. Could you live with 29 cats and 9 dogs? One woman did and almost lost her family because of it. It's cute, but not, that's not cute anymore. We'll be right back.
I could never live without my animals. literally can't live without. And if everybody else walked away, my cats are still there.